Welcome to today's Bible quiz. There are totally 10 questions to put your knowledge of the scripture to text. Are you ready for this? Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get started. Question 1. Which disciple doubted Jesus' resurrection until he saw him physically? Is it Thomas or Peter? Is it Andrew or Matthew? Other disciples told Thomas, "We have seen the Lord." But he said, "Unless I see the nail marks in his hands, and put my finger where the nails were, and put my hand into his side, I will not believe." John 20, verse 24 to 25. Question 2. What is the name of the mountain that Moses climbed to view the promised land? Is it Mount Ararat, or Mount Carmel, Mount Olives, or Mount Nebo? Moses climbed Mount Nebo from the plains of Moab to the top of Pisgah. There, the Lord showed him the whole land, and said, "This is the land I promised on oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, when I said, I will give it to your descendants. I have let you see it, but you will not cross over into it." Deuteronomy 34, verse 1 to 4. Question 3. Why was there a great uproar that Paul was almost torn to pieces by the Sadducees? The Sanhedrin says there's no resurrection. The Essenes says there's no resurrection. The Sadducees says there's no resurrection. Or, the Sadducees says there is resurrection. The Sadducees says there is no resurrection, angels nor spirits, but the Pharisees believe all these things. There was a great uproar, and some Pharisees stood up and argued vigorously. It became so violent that the commander was afraid Paul would be torn to pieces by them. Acts 23 verse 8 to 10. Question 4. Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts what? Bad character, or good character. It corrupt wicked people, or weak people. Do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. 1 Corinthians 15 verse 33. Question 5. Who was the author that wrote the book of Proverbs? Is it Prophet Isaiah, or King Solomon? It Habakkuk, or Prophet Daniel? The Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel, for gaining wisdom and instruction, for understanding words of insight. Proverbs 1 verse 1 to 2. Question 6. What woman is known for her wisdom that went to visit the king of wisdom? Is it Queen Sheba, or Queen Esther, or Athaliah, or Jezebel? When the Queen of Sheba heard about the fame of Solomon and his relationship to the Lord, she came to test Solomon with hard questions, and talked with him about all that she had on her mind. Solomon answered all her questions. When she saw all the wisdom of Solomon and the palace he had built, she gave the king a lot of gift. 1 Kings 10, verse 1 to 10. Question 7. Which woman was the first to see Jesus after his resurrection? Was it Martha, or Virgin Mary? Was it Mary Magdalene, or Elizabeth? It's Mary Magdalene. Mary stood outside the tomb, crying. As she wept, she bent over to look into the tomb, and saw two angels in white, seated where Jesus' body had been, one at the head and the other at the foot. John 20 verse 11 to 13. Question 8. What is the first commandment that came with a promise? Is it, do not lie, or honor your father and mother, or do not steal, or do not commit adultery? Honor your father and mother, so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you. Exodus 20, verse 12. Question 9. Who was there when Prophet Elijah was taken up to heaven? Is it Hosea, or Joshua, Samuel, or Elisha? It's Elisha. As they were walking along and talking together, suddenly a chariot and horses of fire appeared and separated the two of them, and Elijah went up to heaven in a whirlwind. Elisha saw this and cried out. 2 Kings 2, verse 11 to 12. Question 10. Who was the woman that gave all the little she had to God with her whole heart? Is it the poor widow, or Abigail? Is it Naomi, or the widow of Zarephath? But a poor widow came and put in 2 very small copper coins. Jesus called his disciples and said, Truly, tell you, this poor widow has put more into the treasury than all the others. They all gave out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in all she had. Mark 12 verse 42 to 44.